In the heart of the Holy Qur'an lies Surah Al-Fiil, meaning the elephant. This surah, the 105th in the Qur'an, reminds us of Allah's divine protection and power. It tells the story of a tyrant who sought to destroy the Kaaba and how Allah intervened. This surah is short, with only 5 verses, but its message is profound. It teaches the futility of arrogance and the certainty of Allah's justice. It also highlights the importance of faith and trust in Allah. Let us reflect on its message and strive to internalize its lessons. Long ago in pre-Islamic Arabia, a powerful ruler named Abraha emerged in Yemen. Abraha, a Christian, built a magnificent cathedral in Sana'a. He yearned for it to become a renowned pilgrimage site. But he envied the Kaaba in Mecca. Consumed by jealousy, Abraha hatched a plan. He marched towards Mecca with a massive army. His army included a colossal elephant named Mahmud. Blinded by arrogance, Abraha set off, unaware of the divine intervention awaiting them. The news of Abraha's impending attack spread like wildfire throughout Arabia, reaching the Quraysh tribe, the custodians of the Kaaba. Fear and apprehension gripped the hearts of the people. They knew they stood no chance against Abraha's mighty army. Some fled to the mountains seeking refuge. Others, in their desperation, turned to their idols for help. However, deep down they knew that only a miracle could save them from the impending doom. Meanwhile, Abraha, drunk with power and consumed by his wicked intentions, continued his advance towards Mecca. He remained oblivious to the whispers of fear and the pleas for mercy that echoed around him. As Abraha's army approached Mecca, they encountered a man named Abdul Mutalib, the Prophet Muhammad's grandfather and the leader of the Qur'an. Unfazed by Abraha's threats, Abdul Mutalib courageously stood his ground, refusing to compromise the sanctity of the Kaaba. Abdul Mutalib, known for his wisdom and diplomacy, approached Abraha. He didn't plead for the Kaaba's safety, understanding that Abraha's heart was hardened. Instead, he requested the return of camels that Abraha's army had seized, which belonged to Abdul Mutalib. Abraha, surprised by this seemingly insignificant request, agreed to return the camels. He even invited Abdul Mutalib to meet him. During their encounter, Abraha arrogantly boasted about his intention to destroy the Kaaba. Abdul Mutalib, with unwavering faith, responded, "This is the house of Allah, and his prophet Ibrahim built it. Allah will protect his house." With that, he left Abraha and returned to his people. He instructed them to seek refuge in the mountains, placing their trust entirely in Allah's protection. As the Quraysh sought safety, Abdul Mutalib, along with some others, clung to the curtains of the Kaaba. They raised their hands in prayer, beseeching Allah to protect his house and his people from the tyranny of Abraham. Section 5. The Divine Intervention. The stage was set for a confrontation between human arrogance and divine power. Abraha, blinded by his pride, prepared to unleash his fury upon the Kaaba. He ordered his troops and the mighty elephant, Mahmud, to advance. However, as Mahmud approached the Kaaba, something extraordinary happened. The giant elephant suddenly stopped in its tracks, refusing to move any further. It trumpeted and swayed, but it wouldn't take a single step towards the Kaaba. Confusion and fear gripped Abraha's army. They prodded and beat the elephant, trying to force it forward, but Mahmud remained rooted to the spot. It was as if an invisible force held it back, preventing it from desecrating the sacred ground. The sky above Mecca, once clear and bright, began to darken. A strange humming sound filled the air, growing louder with each passing moment. The people looked up in astonishment and terror, witnessing a sight they had never seen before. Section 6. The Ababel birds attack. From the horizon, flocks of birds, unlike any they had ever witnessed, descended upon Abraha's army. These birds, known as Ababel, were small and swift, their wings beating furiously as they darkened the sky. Each bird carried in its beak and claws small stones, resembling pebbles of baked clay. As they swooped down upon the terrified army, they rained these stones upon them. The impact of each stone was excruciating, burning and tearing through flesh and armor as if they were fiery projectiles. Panic and chaos engulfed Abraha's army as they realized the futility of their situation. The once mighty army, reduced to a state of utter helplessness, fled in terror. The Ababel birds pursued them relentlessly, their stones raining down upon the fleeing soldiers. The air was filled with the cries of the wounded and the dying. Abraha, the once proud and arrogant king, was not spared from the wrath of Allah. He too was struck by the stones, his body riddled with painful wounds. His dreams of conquest lay shattered, replaced by the agonizing reality of his impending doom. Section 7. Aftermath of the miracle. The dust settled, revealing the aftermath of the miraculous event. Abraha's once mighty army was utterly destroyed, their bodies scattered across the land, victims of their own arrogance and transgression. The ground was littered with the remnants of their invasion, broken weapons, shattered armor, and the lifeless bodies of men and animals. The stench of death hung heavy in the air, a grim reminder of Allah's swift and decisive judgment. Abraha, his body ravaged by the stones of the Ababel birds, lay among the ruins of his army. His ambition, his pride, and his very being were crushed. He had sought to destroy the house of Allah, and in doing so he had met his own destruction. The people of Mecca, who had witnessed the entire event from the safety of the mountains, cautiously descended towards their city. As they surveyed the scene before them, a sense of awe and gratitude washed over them. The miraculous destruction of Abraha's army and the protection of the Kaaba hold profound significance for Muslims. It serves as a powerful reminder of Allah's unwavering protection of his house and his believers. This event, known as the Year of the Elephant, became a pivotal moment in Arabian history. It marked the year of Prophet Muhammad's birth, a year when Allah demonstrated his power and mercy in an undeniable way. The story of Surah Al-Fiil reinforces the belief that Allah is the ultimate protector. It instills a sense of security and trust in the hearts of believers, knowing that no force can harm them when they are under Allah's protection. Furthermore, this event highlights the importance of the Kaaba as the holiest site in Islam. It signifies that Allah will protect his house from any harm, no matter how great the threat. Reciting Surah Al-Fiil is not merely a ritualistic act, but a source of immense spiritual benefit for Muslims. Islamic scholars emphasize the virtues and blessings associated with its recitation. One of the primary benefits is the reminder of Allah's protection. By reciting this surah, believers reaffirm their faith in Allah's power and his willingness to protect those who believe in him. Moreover, reciting Surah Al-Fiil is believed to invoke a sense of security and peace. It serves as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, Allah is always with those who trust in him. Some scholars suggest that reciting this surah can also serve as a form of protection against enemies and hardships. It is believed to create a spiritual barrier, shielding the reciter from harm and evil. Furthermore, the recitation of Surah Al-Fiil is a form of remembrance of Allah's blessings. It allows Muslims to reflect upon his mercy and express gratitude for his constant protection. Beyond its historical and spiritual significance, Surah Al-Fiil offers timeless lessons for all humanity. It teaches us about the importance of humility, the futility of arrogance, and the consequences of challenging the will of Allah. Abraha's story serves as a stark reminder that pride and arrogance ultimately lead to downfall. His desire to destroy a sacred site out of envy and a lust for power brought about his own destruction. This surah emphasizes that true power belongs only to Allah. No matter how mighty an army or how grand a plan, it is insignificant against the will of Allah. Surah Al-Fiil also highlights the importance of faith and trust in Allah. The Quraysh, despite their fear, placed their trust in Allah's protection, and he responded by miraculously saving them from Abraha's tyranny. This story teaches us that even in the darkest of times, when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, we must never lose hope in Allah's mercy and his ability to protect us. The story of Surah Al-Fiil is a testament to Allah's eternal power and his unwavering protection of those who believe in him. It is a story that has resonated through centuries, reminding us of the importance of faith, humility, and trust in the divine plan. As we reflect upon the events of that fateful day, let us remember that Allah's protection is not limited to a specific time or place. His mercy and his power are all-encompassing, extending to all those who seek his refuge. May the story of Surah Al-Fiil serve as a source of inspiration and strength for us all. May it remind us to place our trust in Allah, to remain humble in the face of His greatness, and to always seek His protection in all that we do. Let us strive to live our lives in accordance with the lessons learned from this surah, remembering that true victory and lasting peace lie in submission to the will of Allah.